Waymo will test its autonomous cars in New York again. Google's AI-powered Search Live feature is here to further cannibalize the internet. And Adobe Project Indigo is a new photo app from former Pixel camera engineers. It's Thursday, June 19th, and here's a quick look at tech in the news this morning from Engadget. Waymo's autonomous cars are heading back to New York City in July. Cars will be manually driven for now, not unlike the mapping tests that Waymo ran in 2021, but the company says it ultimately wants to bring the same autonomous ride-hailing service it offers in San Francisco, Phoenix, and Los Angeles to New York City. New York state law currently does not allow for the operation of a vehicle without a human driver, an obvious obstacle for a company like Waymo. As a bridge to offering its full service, Waymo says it's applied for a permit with the New York Department of Transportation to operate vehicles autonomously with a trained specialist behind the wheel. If NYC DOT approves the permit, the company says this will be the first testing deployment of autonomous vehicles in New York City. Waymo's previous excursion in New York was focused on navigating city traffic and dealing with ice and snowy weather. Each city the company enters presents a new challenge, but the places that Waymo currently operates are primarily in drier, warmer climates. For now, getting the state and city on board with autonomous vehicles seems like the larger issue. Outside of New York, Waymo continues to grow. The company recently expanded its service area around San Francisco and Los Angeles, came to Austin with the help of Uber back in March, and plans to either offer paid rides or test its self-driving system in several other cities over the next year. Google's Search Live feature with voice input is now available on its app for iOS and Android in the U.S. You'll have to opt into AI mode in Labs to be able to access it, but after you do, you'll be able to have a back-and-forth voice conversation with Search. To use the feature, open the Google app and tap the new Live icon to verbally ask a question. Google will respond with AI-generated audio as well, and you'll be able to ask follow-up questions naturally. Under the hood, the feature is powered by a custom version of Gemini with advanced voice capabilities. The company says it's the perfect feature for when you're on the go or multitasking, like packing a bag. In the example that Google used, the user asked Search how to prevent linen dresses from wrinkling in a suitcase, and it responded verbally. The user then asked a couple of follow-up questions without having to exit the Search Live screen or having to tap the Live icon again. You can continue your chat even if you open another app, and you can also see a transcript of Google's responses and then type in more questions if you want to shift to written conversation. Now, while the feature has the potential to be a convenient tool, the sources Google takes its information from might not see any traffic from the interaction. Google does show links from across the web on the Search Live screen, but they're displayed in tiny cards and can completely be ignored if the user is indeed doing something else while talking to Search. In the coming months, the company is expanding Search Live with the capability to show and ask Search about what you're seeing in real time. Google announced that particular ability at I/O this year, and as an example, Google said you can show Search a difficult math problem and ask it to help you solve it, or to explain a concept you're having difficulty grasping. Adobe launched its own take on how smartphone cameras should work this week with Project Indigo, a new iPhone camera app from some of the team behind the Pixel camera. The project combines the computational photography techniques that engineers Mark Lavoie and Florian Kainz popularized at Google with pro controls and new AI-powered features. In their announcement of the new app, Lavoie and Kainz style Project Indigo as the better answer to typical smartphone camera complaints of limited controls and overprocessing. Rather than using aggressive tone mapping and sharpening, Project Indigo is supposed to use only mild tone mapping, boosting of color saturation, and sharpening. That's intentionally not the same as the zero processing approach some third-party apps are taking. The new app also has fully manual controls and the highest image quality that computational photography can provide, whether you want a JPEG or a RAW file at the end. Now, Project Indigo achieves that by dramatically underexposing the shots it combines together and relying on a larger number of shots to combine, up to 32 frames, according to Lavoie and Keynes. The app also includes some of Adobe's more experimental photo features like Remove Reflections, which uses AI to eliminate reflections from photos. Lavoie left Google in 2020 and joined Adobe a few months later to form a team with the express goal of building a universal camera app. Based on his LinkedIn, Keynes joined Adobe that same year. At Google, Keynes and Lavoie were often credited with popularizing the concept of computational photography, where camera apps rely more on software than hardware to produce quality smartphone photos. Google's success in that arena kicked off a camera arms race that raised the bar everywhere, but also led to some pretty over-the-top photos. Project Indigo is a bit of a corrective and also an interesting test whether a third-party app that might produce better photos is enough to beat the default. Project Indigo is available to download for free now and runs on either the iPhone 12 Pro and up or the iPhone 14 and up. An Android version of the app is coming at some point in the future. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Ian Carlos Campbell and Mariella Moon and was voiced and produced from the sound studios of Spoken Layer. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news from Engadget.